गुड मॉर्निंग। वेलकम टू एच आर टेक्निकल चैनल। आज हमारा डे 4 है, तो आज उसको एक पॉजिटिव थॉट्स के साथ स्टार्ट करेंगे। आज का हमारा थॉट्स है थॉट्स ऑफ द डे। अच्छा सोचोगे तो अच्छा होगा, बुरा सोचोगे तो बुरा होगा। आप वही बनोगे जो आप दिन भर सोचते हैं। आज का हम टॉपिक स्टार्ट करते हैं। आज का जो टॉपिक है हमारा टॉपिक है आपका इंट्रोस्पेक्ट टू इम्प्रूव। Don't find fault with others, rather learn to see your own faults. Introspection is very important and merits elaboration. When a schoolboy fares badly in his exams, his parents often tell him to introspect and find out the reasons for his poor performance. Similarly, when someone commits an evil act, the elders and seniors advise him to introspect in order to help him realize the effect of his actions and so that he may avoid repeating similar mistakes in future. Eventually, Evidently, introspection is a useful tool for one's betterment. It is because we lack the power of introspection that we often find ourselves feeling miserable. Introspection and its importance. Introspection is the watching of one's own thoughts and emotions so as to be able to understand the source of all distractions and mental turmoil. It is the examine one's thoughts to discriminate between good or beneficial thoughts and evil or harmful thoughts. Introspection is the art of thinking about one's own thoughts. Diseases, aches, and sprains make us suffer physically, whereas anger, jealousy, stress, depression, and lack of concentration are some of our mental afflictions. For curing our physical ailments, we visit a doctor who usually insists on a battery of blood tests, X-ray scans, and CT scans. So much so that we are at times irritated and wonder if the doctor is ever going to treat us instead of sending our already tired bodies to different departments of the hospital. The threat is that the good doctor is only doing his job. He must first identify the problem before he can provide the cure. This process of finding the cause of the diseases is known as diagnosis. In fact, once the diagnosis is successful, the disease is as good as cured in most cases. Similarly, most of our mental ailments are cured the moment we are able to find the cause through accurate diagnosis. This diagnosis of mental ailments is known as introspection. The crucial difference between our physical and mental ailments is that while we have medicines, hospitals, doctors, and nurses to help us treat physical sickness, there is really nobody who can cure us of mental sickness. We can at best get some guidance from people like psychologists or psychiatrists, but ultimately it is our own efforts that will help cure us. We have to become our own doctor and make full use of introspection, which is the most effective and in fact only tool available to us. Introspection is also a form of prevention because when we practice it regularly, we become strong enough to ward off mental diseases even before they appear. This makes introspection even more important since prevention is better than cure. Introspection and its practice. Initially, we need to watch and be aware of the flow of thoughts in our mind. To start with, we must spare at least 10 minutes both in the morning and evening every day. During those 10 minutes, we should simply watch our thoughts without any reactions whatsoever, no censure, no criticism, simply accepting the way we are and making no efforts to change. Just watch the thoughts flow in and out of your mind, like a gateman who watches people enter and leave the gate without speaking or reacting. Once we know the preoccupations, tendencies, and inclinations of our mind through regular practice, we can guide it to our own advantage. This practice is further explained in the appendix. Introspection also strengthens us to face life's great challenges. All of us have to face great tragedies at some time or the other. For some, the experience comes early in life, while for others, it may come later. Perhaps someone's parents have passed away at an early age, or another is suddenly widowed after 2 decades of happy and blissful married life. When tragedy strikes, an individual may emerge stronger and purer than before, or may simply collapse. One may resort to alcoholism and drug abuse and thereby end up as a mere shell of a human being. This happens when we fail to examine the source of our sorrows and therefore get swept away by the tidal wave of grief that overcomes us. However, when we realize that we need to shake off this unhappiness and move on in life, we are able to use tragedy as an opportunity to strengthen ourselves and build our character. This is an instance of the practical benefit of the art of introspection. If we regularly analyze the very world we live in, we can strengthen the habit of introspecting. Most of us take this world for granted and imagine that others must see and feel the same way as we do. This is grossly incorrect. In fact, each one of us lives in a different world. That is why the same object produces different emotions in different people. A father may feel deep love and affection when he sees a toy belonging to his own child lying by the roadside in front of his house. A stranger, on the other hand, may see the same as a dirty doll worthy of being kicked into the drain. Again, we see how babies have no idea of the value of money and may even tear a 500 rupees note into pieces without giving it a second thought. Yet things considered precious by a baby, such as a piece of toffee or an old broken toy, are useless for us. Even the same person at different times see things in different ways. For instance, a child that claims his mother to be the best in the world when she lovingly serves food or puts him to bed or fulfills his desires will see her as the world's worst mother when she gets angry at him, she scolds or slaps him. Or consider a young couple professing undying love for each other and marrying against the will of their parents. But a few years later, the some couple may publicly accuse each other like sworn enemies and end their marriage in a bitter divorce. We have been led to believe that it is only the external environment that is responsible for all our evil tendencies and that it has much influence over us. But the above examples show that the mind projects its own thoughts and feelings onto the world around it. Our mind affects and distorts our perceptions of people and things. We perceive them different from what they actually are. It is through this colored prize that we see objects and people around us and label them good or bad. Our mind exerts such firm control over us that we get carried away and appear to have no say in the decisions that we take. Our mind leads us to believe that the world must run according to our plans, that we must be successful in all our endeavors, and that people must be polite and sympathetic towards us. When reality dawns, we realize this is not always true. Adverse reactions often dishearten us and make us cynical. Introspection makes us realize that the world has no power to influence us unless we allow ourselves to be influenced. Introspection and control of mind, the ability to find the source of suffering and seek possible solutions, comes by introspecting the source of all problems can be traced to the mind. A person went to the doctor and complained of pain. When the doctor asked him where the pain was, he touched various parts of his body with the right index finger and said that he had pain in all those places. The doctor examined and could not find anything wrong. The doctor then examined the index finger and found that the tip was fractured. So the cause of pain was in the fingertip and not in the rest of the body. The mind acts upon and further strengthens the inherent tendencies and inclinations during our interactions with the outer world. Generally, the mind acts as an agent of the lower self, the aspect of our personality that tries to drag us down and lets us to entertain evil emotions. It is the great enemy of the higher self, the aspects of our personality that inspires us to inculcate good habits and pure emotions. Our mind often deceives us in many ways. Sometimes it cooperates, suddenly it springs a trap and destroys all our good intentions. Thus, we need mind control, and the only way to control an undisciplined and harmful mind is to practice introspection regularly. Analysis of everyday incidents will show how introspection helps control the mind. An average student who has not developed the capacity required to control his mind will waste his time in activities such as gossiping and watching television out of ignorance and carelessness, but the sudden awareness of approaching exams makes him realize that he will fail unless he studies hard. During that period, he allows nothing to distract him from his studies, not even his mother's call for food. He is able to achieve this level of control over his mind because exam fear makes him realize the danger ahead, leading to introspection. When an individual becomes fully convinced of the utility of a particular path or actions, he or she puts the best possible effort to succeed. This is also seen in the case of the smoker who suddenly realizes one fine morning that his habit is harmful. If he is sincere from that day, he makes repeated effort to quit the habit. Repeated actions form habits, and the only way to get rid of bad habits is to engage oneself in actions that counter the bad habits. There are many examples of people who have been able to give up one or more bad habits and acquire good habits because they are convinced of the beneficial effects of their actions. So आज का यहीं पे हम एंड करते हैं वीडियो, और कल फिर डिस्कस करेंगे इसका नेक्स्ट पार्ट। वीडियो देखने के लिए आपका धन्यवाद। हैव अ नाइस डे।